Good morning, and welcome to Strange Days, a show where people are invited to call in and share their experiences with both the audience and the host. Our goal is to foster a sense of connection and understanding, allowing listeners to relate to the stories and feel less alone, promoting a broader awareness of different perspectives, while the host is available to provide thoughtful feedback and support to each caller. My name is Mac, and I'm your host, a disabled, neurodivergent, cisgendered gay man. While waiting for an audience to form, I've been playing through Stardew Valley, exclusively on stream. If you want to call in and chat and need my full attention, I have no problem pausing the game. And if you're here for the gameplay or the vibes, that's okay too. But without further delay, let's play. It's been a very cold morning. Brr. But I'm sure all of you feel that, well, most of you, because I'm sure some of you are also not so much in cold regions. Some of you might be in tropical areas or subtropical. Some of you might also be from where I used to hearken from, which would be Florida. But yeah, it's been a cold morning for me. As we also prepare for the storm front coming in, or the cold front, wet front, I don't know what they want to call it. They can't seem to make up their mind. Also, let me make sure my audios are running properly, because I probably should have done that right beforehand. Bear with me. System volumes. Nope, that is, I hate Windows. Microsoft. Give me back my volume control panel. System sounds. That's the one I want. Recording. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Because occasionally when I use different meetings applications, they like to hijack my volume level for my microphone, and then it screws with my streaming software's audio settings, and then it doesn't broadcast properly. So I always need to go back and check to make sure that it is still at the proper volume setting so that you all can hear my lovely voice. So here we are again, back in Stardew Valley, trying to make a buck. Because, yep, $20 million just to buy a clock. Because again, capitalism got us down. All because of a wizard. Some fat cat living in a clock tower, deciding that we need monies for a golden clock. Insane. Although I do feel like I'm gonna need to rapidly expand my ability to make money, because the rate at which I'm doing it is clearly insufficient if it's 20 million. And also, Ginger Island is going to become significantly more critical. Especially since we're already in summer, and yeah. Just yeah. Wait, what? Oh, there it is. I was gonna say, where did all of my iridium ore go and coal from when I was making iridium stuff? I also wanted to look into whether or not these tools can be upgraded at the smith, because I didn't see an achievement for them, but I wonder if there is an achievement for them. Because they're not like standard tools, because I didn't like have them on me, but that doesn't mean there isn't an upgrade for them. And if there is, then maybe that's why I didn't get an achievement. So I'm gonna run over there and see if, goodness, morning's already passing. really fast. Oh, and it's Sunday, which means all of the... Let me see what tools are upgradable, because I don't want to miss out on any of them. Enhancements. Yeah, no, so they don't upgrade. I've already upgraded all the tools, so apparently there isn't an achievement for it. A little disappointing. Because I was kind of hoping there was an achievement for finishing upgrading all the tools, but nope. All right. So I can deposit those back because now they're completely useless for me. I'm suspecting that I might want to just ignore the need for the barrier around the barns, and I might just want to open the barn area entirely. As much as that's going to frustrate me in the long run for trying to find all of the truffles in the future, but it's going to make it so that I can have a bunch of piggies making truffles and whatnot. I also feel like it's frustrating that, like, just because these fence posts were placed and have weathered a time, that now that I'm picking them up, they're broken. Like, I can't put them back down. I feel like that's absurd. I feel like I should have a way of picking them up and then being able to use them again because they're hardened wood. Like, that doesn't mean they have to be destroyed. Yeah, the only way to take them down is with an axe. I wonder if I'd used stone fencing. Is that a thing? Iron fence. Oh, there's stone fence, but I'm last longer than a wood fence. But see, like, hardwood fence is still the most durable fence, but it still breaks when you break it down. And apparently it still breaks down over time because I had some that broke down last season. It's going to be such a mess, otherwise known as a pigsty. Despite how pigs are actually not all that messy, supposedly. According to people. All right, and then I need to go and have my buildings shuffled around so that I can add more buildings slowly. Oh, I should have picked up. We do that before I build and shuffle things around so that I can actually take care of that while I'm there. Stone, wood, I guess hardwood. I think I need copper. Sure, I'll just bring everything just in case because I have no idea what I'm going to need. And hopefully their little bodies don't count as obstructions when I need to move buildings, because that will be very frustrating. Because if they do, then I don't know how I'm supposed to move buildings or build stuff. Oh, a scene. Hooray! Maru, building robots. Hi, come in. I've been working on a new project, something big. This is just one component. Let me show you a little demonstration. Put your hand here. Exterminate. Now I'm gonna flip this switch. Oh my god, it chopped off my hand! No, nope, it just electrocuted me. Same difference. Oh my god, are you alright? Here, let me apply this burn cream. Ugh, of course, a reason to touch me. I'm so sorry. It's okay, it doesn't even hurt. Oh no? Well, that makes me feel a little better then. Thanks. Ugh. That kind of ruined the moment, huh? What moment? Why is everybody trying to romance me? I'm married. Like, I'm already taken. Construct farm buildings, move buildings. Okay. This is where it's going to get frustrating because I can't build the big barn right away. I have to start with the little barn. Ugh, so frustrating. Yeah, apparently the animals do count as obstructions. So frustrating. Okay, so that should get that started. Let me drop all the barn equipment box down. That I guess can go over here next to the barn deposit stuff. And then I need to I'm also going to diversify that one barn, move the pigs out of it, and then start expanding it for cows, sheep, and ostrich so that I have more capability in the winter. Because, yes, pigs are more profitable, but wintertime is really a problem. I also think I am going to get rid of the slime hutch. Because I basically have all the slime things that I need, especially now. And that'll free up some space for more silos that I'll need for food. I need to find out where I put the slime ring, because I know I had one. No, that's the glowstone ring. I had one, I just don't remember where I put it. Soul Sapper, Slime Charmer ring. Rarities. So I need to go and clear the slime hutch since I'm going to break it down. I also don't need these sprinklers in here because I can now use iridium ones, which will cover all of the pools or whatever they are. I also have a much more wide variety of eggs that I can grow for slimes. So like it just feels really narrow fielded in here. And there's a limit to what you can grow in here, and I can now grow the incubators outside of here. And so like I can grow them outside of the, oh man. It's like I can now incubate and grow slimes in like a cubby outside, in like a fenced area outside, and have a more expansive area of slimes where they breed and whatnot, rather than having like the hutched space, which, I mean, the hutch technically is better for that because then it doesn't take up room exterior of the building, because the building has like interdimensional space inside, you know, a la TARDIS, but I don't know. It doesn't upgrade, and so it still sort of has limited space. Drop off stuff here, and here, here. Dropping off things. I can swap back off the slime ring. Okay, and then now I need to go collect all of the truffles that my piggies have propped up since this morning. Oh, I'm gonna have to pull some more auto petters as well in order to fill the new barn, or any new barns that I add. But barns are gonna take time because that's how construction works, since every new layer requires to be built individually, and I can't just have her build the new bloody barn that I need. Because that's how she works. She's irritating and frustrating like that. I can't just say, I need a big barn. No, no, no. She's like, I must build them in stages. Frustrating woman. You must order them one at a time. Like, I'd be happy even if she took a week to build it to the fullest of tiers. Crap, I forgot to check. No, no birthday today. I did check. The fruit can wait another day. I do still need to rearrange these buildings better because the barns don't necessarily require my attention so much. Once they're already checked in and stuff. Yeah, tomorrow is Gus, but Gus is already maxed out. So I do need to do Caroline. And she's green tea, and I have enough for her. Sandy is the dandelions. Clint is the aquamarine. Nope. Not dandelions, daffodils. Jody is diamonds. Grab a stack of diamonds because that's inevitable. Marnie is diamonds. Already grabbed Clint. Shane is chili peppers. Abigail is amethyst. Sam is cactus fruit. Penny is diamond, and then Lenore is a baby. Is there a way to finish the mayor's shorts without... Because, like, I don't want to give them up. It's like I want to wear them. I don't like. I mean, I don't want to wear them. I want to keep them because I like having them to not lose my durability on my thing. So can I keep them? I don't want to give them back. I don't want to give them back. Play them during the fair. Choosing the place. Tokens. Pot. When you negate any other Stardew Valley food ingredients out of the pot. No. Wearing them for reactions. See, I don't want to lose them though. I want to keep them. But I want to keep them. Good morning, Trigger. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. A little sleepy this morning, but I'm doing pretty good. I don't know. I don't want to give them back. I don't want to give them back. I like them being impervious. I feel like it's important not having to replace all of my tackle. I just feel like that's important to never have to replace them. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. I think I might be crazy. Anyway, how's your day going? You having a good day so far? Oh, she's already asleep. Abigail is probably on her way home. He must be at the inn or bar or whatever because he's not in his shop. / home, because in this town there's no districting. It's just or zoning. It's just where you live is where your shop is. Is Marnie on my list still? I think Marnie is on my list, but I just need to confirm. Yes, she is. No running off, lady. Diamond. Who else? Caroline is already in bed. Sandy is in the desert. Jody is probably already in bed. That's everybody. Okay. Watch out. Coming through. But I'm going to go see if Jody is actually in bed or if she is wandering around her house. How's it going, Als? Yeah, she's already in bed. It is the other thirsty. But I do have some water. Just in case. Well, yes, but it is explained in the title as well. It's about parasocial relationships. And as usual, it's only if people want to talk about them. Nothing is ever forced. it's more about having an open dialogue and a topic of discussion, something that people might find interesting to have as if they have a situation that they want to talk about, or if they want to have it as an open discussion. It's no worries. We are in very different time zones, so things happen. I mean, even last night. Whoa, that is a lot of text happening all at once. Yeah, but that's your insomnia and your sleep schedule shenanigans. But that is BS trigger. I'm glad your boss did ask something about that. I hope that they see that falls into like that corporate hustle culture, and I feel like your company hopefully bakes something like that into their corporate structure to account for it. But depending on where your company is, they may or may not, because if they're not in a region that experiences weather related incidents like that. So where I used to live in Florida, because of hurricanes, they tend to bake stuff like that into their industry and culture so that they account for it. Well, that's good. I mean, potentially. It can also potentially backlash like on the customers and on the company, so it could potentially also be bad. It depends. Caroline's done. Abigail's done. Gus is done, so I don't have to worry about it being his birthday. Penny's getting there. Yeah, see, I don't blame your team for being like that, because then if the storm doesn't come, then do you work Friday and Saturday, or do you just work Friday or Monday and Saturday, or like how does that all shake down? Because then it gets awkward at that point. Oh, dig in. Like, I mean, I can hold both conversations at once. Go, Wells. Because my speech goes faster than your text, so... I mean, probably, but you're typing right now, so my speech goes faster than your text. Unless you're planning to call in. In which case, that's also fine. Good morning, Snagfluencer. Snagglefluencer? Just a morning conversation. How are you doing today? And Owls, you can just drop in what you wanted to say. You don't have to like sideline it. Like you can just put in what you were wanting to say rather than, you know, dance around it. Or you can send it through Discord. Okay. Under Boolean logic? Which set of rules? Well, I have chat rules, call rules. I have the rules on screen. I have rules kind of scattered everywhere, but they're generally don't be mean and be, 18 and older, generally speaking. Oh, that I have to check on those again because it's been a while since I've reviewed those. Um, uh, 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 uh. Because those are housed elsewhere. Oh, where do those get kept? Because I set those pretty early on, I have to find where I stuck those. Bear with me while I find those in all the settings so that I can verify what they are framed as. Just so that I can make sure that I'm not misphrasing anything, because I don't like to misstate stuff. No, I understand. I just don't want to like misframe anything, and I don't want to misstate anything. So I just want to make sure I'm reading them directly, because I can't see them at the moment. Uh, Okay. So they're set to be kind, respect other humans, include everyone, and listen to the moderation team. So they're not Boolean. You can't just true false them. No, Als, that's true. So the reason why parasocials are the topic is to be a discussion. It's not meant to be something that's like a negative topic. It's meant to be something that's open for discussion. Some people might have unhealthy relationships that are parasocial. It's meant to be something that is to be a topic. Some people might know someone who are in unhealthy relationships that are parasocial. But parasocial relationships are just relationships that are one directional. I don't know people who are online, who are influencers, who are streamers, who are celebrities, and I might have emotional attachments with them. That is a one directional relationship. That's parasocial. That's not unhealthy if I don't have an unhealthy relationship in that way. So, Snaggle, the idea behind those is that you just have to be kind to others. Try not to be degrading, try not to be negative towards them. It's not Boolean as in true false there. So it's expect some questions that are pretty deep into streamer logic. Ban Invader and Auto Mod set. Oh, for the most part, they're pretty chill. I do a lot of that stuff myself. Yeah, like it's mostly just me. Um, Yeah, it's mostly just us. It's I think so. It doesn't auto ban. It's filtered. I think is what it does right now. Is it just filters? No filtering actually. Well, that's not. Sorry, that's not entirely true. It has mild filtering for certain facets. I'm not going to go into the super depth detail of how things are entirely set up, but there's filters in place to certain degrees. But we handle most of the moderation ourselves because it's a small stream. Usually it's me and Al's here for the most part. I have a small group of people that come in, we chat, we hang out. And I have availability to pause my game to talk and chat and take callers. So I can handle usually what comes in. Pardon me. It's not often that we get people that are saying things inappropriate. We had good morning, Slothful. We had one person that was saying inappropriate stuff in like a foreign language at one point, but otherwise it wasn't too bad. Like we don't usually get a lot of bad stuff. There he is. I was looking for him. Stop running away. Yes, of course I've been to the desert. You've seen me there. I know people on either spectrum of the parasocial relationship, and personally I've been through a few of the stages, so to say, over the years. It's interesting stuff. Yeah, I mean, parasocial relationships are interesting. It's especially interesting when we think about how parasocial relationships can be as they vary when we talk about how the social media landscape has evolved over the past few decades and how people evolve with parasocial relationships, and social media and influencers have continued to evolve and develop in the world that we exist in today. We continue to evolve and develop as sort of this parasocial ecosystem continues, and social media influencers become more of an accepted sort of personality, and the social media influencers become more and more commonplace. The parasocial relationship evolves and develops, and sometimes the influencers stop being parasocial and become more social. what happens at that point is it's truly a parasocial relationship. Can a parasocial relationship become more of a standard relationship? It's important to realize that, or try to distinguish where parasociality in the relationship is, and understand what a parasocial relationship is and at what point it might be considered parasocial or where it might be considered unhealthy. Because it's one thing to look at it as entertainment value versus a relationship. Good morning, is it Lucidio? Lucidio Sin? How do you prefer to be referred? Well, welcome. So is Lucidio Sin the correct pronunciation, though? Oh, okay, good. Well, Al's, you take care. Make sure you travel safely, and the conversation can continue this evening at tonight's session. And I'll see you then. Lucidiosin, it's not a problem. I try my best at pronunciation. First time I met Al's, it took several attempts for me to get the pronunciation correct, but I have no problem at taking time to try and get pronunciations right. And I prefer getting things down correctly as needed. Yeah, the day's been pretty mellow over here too. It's been chill, and by chill, I mean it is cold today. Snaggle, I've never been in a parasocial relationship either, outside of like early age, like crushes in school. To me, I don't really understand them because I don't see the connection in that sort of in celebrities. Like they're clearly somewhere else. There's no connection to them. So when I was younger, it was more of like a lustful connection. So I didn't understand my feelings. But now that I'm older, like they clearly don't have feelings for me, so they don't even know me, so how can I have a relationship with them? So I don't understand that, but that might be my neurodivergence stepping in and protecting me. Yeah, interests are important, and if you well, I mean, if you connect with them, so like if you, so I mean, I'm assuming you mean you were dating them. They weren't just like they were people that you had, like social interactions with. They weren't just random people. Because that's I mean, that's the distinction we're drawing here, is that they weren't, yeah, they that's the distinction, is they weren't parasocial relationships, they weren't unidirectional relationships, they weren't anonymous. So that's how they weren't parasocial relationships, and so that's sort of the distinction here, and I think that's important. And that's fine, as long as it was consensual and the other parties were participatory. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, and that's critical. It's always important to have that feeling, that connection. Yeah, I mean, in your particular case, not everybody needs the two, but it's important to have the safe and the communication. Some people have a desire for more, some people for less. But it's the communication part. As long as people are open and communicative, are willing to talk about it, I think that's what's really important. And that's sort of part of where everything started here, is it's all about talking. Yeah, that's one of the things I've always, even before I sort of awakened in my own personal sexual identity, it was about communication. I realized that being able to talk to people was crucial. Even before I was really good at being able to talk to people, I knew that talking to people was absolutely paramount. You can force yourself to know more, but that will always end badly. How am I not a therapist? Well, that's the funny thing. So I am a doctor. I'm just not that kind of doctor. So I have a PhD. I'm just not a psychologist. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. And that is in my list of partial regrets, is that I did not get a degree in mental health counseling or in psychology, a PhD. Because that is part of how I ended down this route of where I am in a bit of career trouble. So, because had I gone down that route, I would be able to do such things as practice mental health professionally. Okay. So yeah, I have a background in psychology. I know a lot about psychoanalysis and stuff, but my interest was in research. So I went down that path, and I ended up going a slightly different direction. But my interest is in helping people. And I found that I can listen, which is where I ended up down this route for now, while I continue to look for work. So I can't be, that's why I have the big disclaimer on the screen that says I'm not a therapist and this isn't therapy, but I can at least talk to people and we can have a discussion, and I can listen to people if they have something that they want to talk about. And if someone has crises that comes up and they are in crisis, I will immediately disclose that, like, I don't handle a crisis. And we have crisis hotlines that we'll put up on screen immediately to, send people to and refer them to. But yeah. But sorry, that I just wanted to throw that out there, that, like, yeah, don't handle crises, but have references if people need them. Completely got derailed. Sorry. It is, so relationships are difficult to get into, especially when you're looking for something where you have that shared kinship. Even starting that establishment, but they do crop up in interesting and odd ways. I did not expect to find someone, let alone someone that would make me happy. I had given up finding someone, and that's when they sort of fell in my lap. The interesting thing is I was married at the time. I had settled for someone that wanted to be with me. I just accepted them as someone who wanted me to be their partner, and I was just like, okay, fine. And things had gone down a bad direction. We had become a very unhealthy relationship, and we were living with another couple, just as roommates, and they were in an unhealthy relationship. We were all working through it, getting a divorce. It's not difficult if you use Jung's third method. Jung is good on his opinion on men. I just apply it onto women also because my opinion is gay. Well, the issue is, in general, a lot of classic psychologists' perspectives are flawed but not necessarily wrong. They just have outdated models. They need modernization and restructuring. And so we just need to modernize them a lot of the time. I mean, like people knock Freudian. Yeah, I mean it's just modernization. But some of it is outright claptrap too. So like if you look at like Freud's perspective of dream theory, it's like our understanding of how the brain like scraps memories and not drains, what's the word I'm looking for? It basically just cleans out memory. It defrags basically the mind when you're sleeping. It cleans up memory. And that's how sometimes dreams occur. So dreams aren't related to things that you're dealing with and what your memories are, and but then how do you explain people who don't dream? Like, I almost never dream. I have more nightmares than normal dreams when I do dream. There's so many different variabilities to account for that are anomalous, that like dreams are so erratic, and yeah, they do. I mean, there's just so many uncountable things that just make it anomalous, that it's erratic, and it's hard to account for. My academic mentor used to say that like in science you have hard science, and then you have the hard sciences. So like you have people refer to like chemistry and biology as hard sciences, and then you have like psychology, which is the hard science because it's the difficult kind. Because they're complicated to try and even like figure out how you're going to approach them in order to explain them. Yeah. Speaking as a person who recently had to deal with surgeries, there's also in surgeries, there's also chances that you do wake up well in under anesthesia. Just the anesthesia just stops working magically in the middle of the surgery. You're just like, oh, hello, I'm awake now. That's terrifying too. It's the mystery of how our physiology works is frightening. Like we understand certain facets of our biology, but other facets are just frightening. And how we name certain facets of our biology is also terrifying. Like the mechanism that makes us fall asleep, they call a flip-flop switch. Like a flip-flop switch. Like, really? That's what we called it? Oh, that is a hard pass. No, if you can do that, no, I absolutely not. Thanks. Absolutely not. That is a hard pass. I would not want that ability at all. My last surgery was terrifying. It was difficult enough to go for in the first place. I would not want the knowledge that I could choose to wake up. My partner has the ability to lucid dream sometimes. Last time I think we spoke, he said that he hasn't been able to do it as much recently, but I can't lucid dream. I would love to lucid dream. I was tracking some technology that supposedly helps you. REMI, I think is what it was called, REMI masks that flicker red lights onto your eyelids that are supposed to help you pull you into lucid dreaming, but wow, that's impressive. I'm a chronic insomniac, but when I sleep, it's usually deep and tumultuously, but I just hope that I would like to be done with surgeries, please. I would like to be done with them for now. Because I've had my fair share. You can sleep deep and then just wake up, man. Like, I can too, but it's so weird what triggers me to wake up. See, again, like I can't choose to wake myself up usually. Like that's again that whole dream state thing that you've got going that I don't do. Usually mine's external stuff that wakes me up. Like I can be in a deep sleep, but then if someone says my name or if my phone rings, stuff like that will wake me up. But it's hit or miss as to like if stuff wakes me. I don't know what sleeping in 4K means. I don't dream. Like it's really rare for me to dream. I almost never dream. And when I do dream, it's almost always nightmares. So I just prefer not. And oddly, it's probably because I do take a medication to assist with my insomnia, because otherwise I would only get about 4 hours of sleep. Even when I don't take the medication, I don't typically dream, but like I've never really had dreams. Even when I was younger and I didn't have the chronic insomnia, I didn't really dream. Even going through like school and whatnot, like never really dreamt. No. Weirdly, for me in my dreams, they don't form that way. It's usually like flashes of colors splattering on a picture. Generally trying to terrify me, which is also the part that I'm not a fan of. I mean, when I'm awake, it doesn't really bother me. Because when I'm awake, it's just a mental image. It's kind of like the dreams scare me because I'm arachnophobic. And so my dreams are always of arachnids. A second day for you. I don't understand that. No, I don't understand what you mean by a second day. No, that I get. I just don't understand what you mean by a second day. Like, I imagine that the visual cortex perceives things and autocorrects the same way our visual, like the way we see things visually. Oh, time means nothing in dream space. I mean, that's not uncommon. No, I mean our time, external time. Time in our world means nothing in dream space. It is a different time scale. Yes, because my partner will have a dream where... Because my partner will wake up and then go back, like, he'll get up and it's 5 minutes before he has to go, like, he'll wake up at, like, 4:30, go back to sleep for 15 minutes, have go back to sleep for 15 minutes, have a several hour long dream in that 15-minute window because the time scale is different. Because time runs differently. The time scale in dream space is different than our time out here. It just works differently. It can also warp differently. So you can wake up out here and time can have gone longer or shorter in Dreamscape. It just works differently. And how it works can vary depending on the dream. Some people can wake up and go back to sleep and go into the same dream, and time can work differently depending on the dream you're going back into. It just works differently. It's almost like a whole different universe in there. Dreams are weird. It's part of why I wish I could lucid dream, because then I could make up my own rules. That I would argue as speculation, and that I would argue as potentially as pseudoscience, because not all tumors have any direct implication on neurobiology. Some, sure, but not all. And some might have psychosomatic implications. Oh, so you mean like on the perceived self? Sure. Like, that I can understand. Because any type of drastic alteration to our physical self has an implication on us. when I had to have my surgery last year, it was profound. It was huge. I really had a struggle with it. Yeah, it's a big deal. Uh, it's not a small change. I even wanted to, like, when I was back in university, I wanted to do research on like the lucid dreaming mask or other types of biohacking, or not biohacking. Is it biohacking? Yeah, biohacking kind of equipment that was sort of emerging at the time, to see how effective it was, because it's still, I mean, even now it's still technically emerging kind of tech that is not really all that well studied, because people find it to be pseudoscience. People often can't imagine them, and people often can imagine themselves and family, but also some people often appear in dreams. Oh, so you mean that they have the ability to imagine themselves, but not necessarily dream themselves? No. Okay. Sorry. I'm not following the chat then. Apologies. People dream the things closest to them, good and bad. Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. The other nightmares that I have are often about my mother. Sure, sure. Depends on the person. That makes sense. See, I occasionally get good dreams. They're just so rare. Like, I have really, really rare dreams. Like, relationship dreams with your kin is very common, exactly the same with parents. But what is also interesting is brain favors people. I mean, it depends on what you mean by favors people. Like, if your intention is to allude that it prefers humans, as in people, over other things, I would argue, in my case, no. Because the majority of the dreams that I have are about arachnids. I do occasionally have nightmares about my mother, but majority of them are about spiders. Now, I might be an outlier, but it's still a problem in my particular case. And I would argue that's still a problem. And I would like to trade that in for a different brain, please. But that's my brain. And it's arguable to say that as a species, we would favor our own as a social creature. Like, because it's the thing closest to someone that they dream about, like your fear. But then you're drawing inferences without. Again, you're drawing inferences with a bias driving it. Like you're making an assumption with prior knowledge. If someone were to say, here's a picture of a woman, here's a spider, how are they connected? You would have no way of knowing. And that's driven by bias. And so it's a completely subjective, direction to drive that all on its own. You would need a lot more than just one instance of information. And this is where it falls into that trapping, where we would need a large data set in order to draw the inferential statistics to see where this comes from. Right, but we would need a large data set, not just me. Well, that's likely because we work from frames of reference. we are not very good with randomization. It's the reason why we're terrible with like memorizing passwords and seeing things that in just pure randomness. We're terrible at that kind of stuff. And that's why we don't do good with just coming up with random. So when we want to come up with something, we draw from things that we're already familiar with. So when someone says, think of this, we tend to draw from things that we've seen before. And so in our dreams, we're primarily shut down our higher level functions. So we draw from things more simplistic. We draw from things we know with absolutes. The longer we know something, it's more simplistic functions. So probably likely from that kind of stuff. Okay. Interesting. I'd not heard of this. This is why I like doing things like this show. Like I learn new things from people. And this is actually relatively recent. Pilsen, how's it going? Yeah, I'd seen studies where they had put people in like an isolation room where they used fluorescent lights to mess with people's day night cycle, and they basically kept the lights on, and people started to have trouble distinguishing day and night, and that was interesting. Uh, and people started having trouble understanding when they were sleepy and when they should be tired. Yeah, they start to kind of lose synchronicity and their circadian rhythm gets disrupted. Um, and falling back into synchronicity with their circadian rhythm takes like 2 weeks. Hilson E. Yeah, it's a lot of days. I I certainly would have struggled with that just because boredom sets in really fast. And like how like I don't boredom, it's my one crippling like kryptonite. Thank you for the follow. See, yeah, like 180 compared to the 500, it's a bit of a difference. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. I just like is like that's such a big change though. Like, and also the Flamini's 500 was really recent too. That was like 2023. It was so recent. Because I was just looking it up, and it was just recently. Yeah, the temporal distortion is enormous. It's one of those situations where you have to have some method of timekeeping, otherwise you just lose all track of time. Although I wonder if you just kind of sleep through it. You just wake up occasionally, use the bathroom, eat some food, go back to sleep. Oh, in the 70s. See, it was one of the things that I always struggle with is like some of the good research, I mean, arguably worst, but some of the more interesting research always is like the older stuff. And I hate to say good, but interesting. Some of the more like weird and interesting and like distinctive research is some of the older stuff. Good is probably not the right phrasing, because it was also arguably some of the notorious. When I was in school, I read about a study that was particularly terrible. It wasn't done on people. It was done on kittens, sadly, where they took out all vertical lines, all vertical indicators. So anything that provided vertical parallax. So anything that would help you to distinguish verticality. So anything that provided like vertical distances. So anything that would provide like vertical distinguishing factors from the environment. So all the kittens would have were horizontal lining, and they were reared in that space in until adolescence. And then they were taken out of that space and provided into a regular space. And then they had another group of kittens that were reared in a space that were only provided the vertical and no horizontal lines. And they found that the kittens raised in the space with only verticals acclimated almost immediately, like in a very short amount of time, into a space where they had both. And the kittens raised in only the horizontal space could not acclimate to a mixed environment at all. They never adjusted. They had to be euthanized. And it was very unfortunate. But it was discovered that purely horizontal space environments did not provide enough distinguishing factor for you to understand three-dimensional space. And that it wasn't something that could be learned after a certain amount of time. And you have to learn it early on, at least in the kittens. And that was just sort of something that stuck with me, that like there is something that there are things that we have to learn about our environments early on. And if we don't learn it, that it is something that will truly impact us in perpetuity. And so there are truly important factors in our development that we have to learn early on. Otherwise, we don't learn them. And it's critical. And I found that really impactful to me. Subscribers, findings. Yeah. Oddly enough, so you remember the mentor I've mentioned? When I mentioned Zeitgeibers, there was some confusion about what I was talking about, which was weird because my mentor has an eidetic memory and she thought I was talking about zeitgeists, and I was like, no. Yeah, but it's just like this facet was something that was weird. Yeah. But it was just that like verticality versus horizontality in three-dimensional space is just odd. It's not something we concretely think about. Zeitburgers. Delicious Zeitburgers. I mean, what student isn't hungry, honestly? I mean, as a student, I was basically hunger driven. If there was an event and there was free food, I was there. Or if there were free energy drinks, I was also there for those too. So, I'm pretty sure I still have it bookmarked. I gotta find it. I think it was called Written Kitten. There used to be... Yes, it's called writtenkitten.co. It's a website where you're supposed to like write, and as you keep writing, as you write, if you write enough, you get a picture of a kitten. And it's supposed to encourage you to keep writing. One of my friends turned me onto it. I keep forgetting to use it though when I need to write stuff though. Cause, you know, I'm forgetful. Although my biggest issue is that I keep procrastinating on writing, and that's probably my bigger issue. And then I keep coming up with new stuff I should be writing. It's learning to stop urinating at will. Oh. That just seemed very random. No, yeah, you were continuing from the previous conversation. It just caught me off guard because it seemed random, but I realized it was a continuation. It is, but the other problem is the refraction when you start getting older, and then you have the other problem of resuming urination. Or when your body tries to make urination extraordinarily difficult and painful by putting small meteorites in it. Sure, you can think that. That's not always the case. it's just an inconvenience for me. Like, oddly, I'm a unique situation. Yeah, so it's unfortunate because the physicians are like, stop eating healthy because all of your food should be boring and bland, and that will fix all of the kidney stone problems. And I'm like, but all of the food on this list is boring and white. It's like, eat white bread and, you know, white rice and don't eat green vegetables. And I'm like, but I'm trying to eat healthy. So, exactly. Which is my problem with their suggestions, because they're like, don't eat beans, don't eat green vegetables, don't eat wheat bread. And I'm like, so don't eat healthy. I'll eat healthy, thanks. But it's just awkward because the recommended stuff that contains oxalates, which is the primary cause of kidney stones, is in everything. Basically. I'm being a little hyperbolic, but it is contained in almost all food products. I don't call toast bread. Toast is toast. Bread is bread. And a baguette is a baguette. Well, in traditional circumstances, yes, I'm partial to toast for my sandwiches, personally. I hear in Germany they actually have like like bread slicers at the store. You just plop your bread into and it slices it. It's just a thing that they do. Yeah. I really, really wish that was something that we allowed for culturally here, because that sounds absolutely amazing. I wish we had them here, or at least that they were more common, because I bake bread, at least I do now, and I'm really tired of slicing my bread by hand. I'm sorry, they what? There's not talking. There's not talking. That's not a talking. That is just rude. That's not a talking about how rude that was. That's just rude. It's a fact. That's rude. I'm I may be out of line here because it's not my culture, but I'm just going to go out here saying that's out of line. Okay, good. I'm not out of line because it's not my culture, but wow. Yeah, that was my issue. I mean, even just like the inappropriateness of it. Like, it's a bread slicer, not a watermelon slicer. Like, you don't. It's a bread slicer, not an anything slicer. It's for bread. Oh, God, just. Yeah, it. This is why we can't have nice things. Some things can be two things. If it's a your thing, it can be two things if you'd like it to be two things. But if it's a public thing. Okay, take care, Hilson. We'll see you later. Oh, crap. Chew will probably have to go in a bit because I need to get my lunch going and. Yeah. Trigger, there are times and places for humorous commentary. That probably was not one of them. I think Trigger was just trying to be humorous. I don't think he was intending to be inflammatory. Because Trigger is a regular, and they're usually just jokey fun, not usually harmful. So I'm pretty sure it was meant to be just playful banter, not meant to be as their namesake. as I said, they probably were just trying to lighten the mood. They were probably just meaning well. $136. Oh, the shed's probably ready to go. Means I need to grab more fruits. Yeah, I don't know why people do things like that. It's so odd to me. Like, I don't think people understand what pranks are supposed to be anymore. They just do terrible things to people, and then they just expect to be able to go, it was a prank. And it's like, no, you could have hurt people. Like, there was the guy that was sticking people with empty syringes and then going, it was a prank. And all I can think of is, do you understand what a prank is? Like, that's not how pranks work. It's not funny. Who's that for? How is anyone laughing? Now you've scared people that you've hurt them or injected them or harmed them. Like, that's not funny. That's frightening. Like, if there's somewhere along the line where there's a punchline where you can be like, ah, see, it was just a joke. Nothing terrible here. Yeah. So if you can prove to the person that nothing bad happened, like if there is a way to prove to them, like if the fake iPay where you can show to someone and they can understand, but they have to be able to understand. So when they do it to senior people who don't understand, that's harder to make a prank out of. Like to older people who don't necessarily understand that you can't do that, or that they don't understand that technology doesn't work that way, or like that they don't believe you and stuff like that. That's much harder to make them understand that it's a prank. Like, that's so much harder. Because then they end up calling the police, and then you have a harder time, making that a viable understanding that it's a prank. Because yes, nothing terrible actually happened, but you have traumatized someone. And that is real. Because they genuinely don't understand that it's not real. And that's the issue at hand, is that sure, they didn't lose any money, but they just lost years of their life. But it's the same situation where... But that's the same argument where if someone drives their car at you 60 miles an hour, but doesn't hit you, and you think you're about to die from it, but they didn't hit you, is that okay? Because if someone threatens to hit you, but they didn't actually hit you, is that okay? No, it's not okay. If someone threatens to take your money out of your wallet, but they didn't actually do it, is that okay? If someone threatens to cause you harm and gives you trauma, is that okay? No, it's still trauma. It still causes your heart rate to go up and gives you an adrenaline rush and still causes you grief. It's still harassment. It still causes your heart rate to go up and your blood pressure to spike, and it still causes you issue. You didn't ask for that. No one asked for that interaction. They didn't say, hey, I'm willing to participate in this. They didn't say, hey, I'd like to have an interaction with you. Can I bother you for 5 minutes? No, they just walked up and went, boom, and now you're having this forced interaction. They didn't sign a consent document that said, I'm willing to participate in this interaction and be filmed for your engagement. They didn't see a link on a website that said, hey, this engagement and stuff. It's still a choice. If I walk down the street and someone touches my purse or reaches up to me and interacts and makes a noise, and I turn because they're trying to engage with me, and they're forcing an engagement, it's still trying to force an interaction. They're forcing an interaction with someone. They're trying to cause the interaction. They're trying to cause an engagement. If you walk down the street and you start throwing your hand in someone's face, but you don't touch them, as you're walking down and other people are walking up and you start, but you don't touch them, and someone interacts with you, you didn't do anything wrong. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that appropriate behavior? Is that all right? Is that okay? Would that be appropriate? Is that an okay interaction with people? And why or why not? What violence has happened, though? The issue is that it's still a forced interaction. You're inviting someone to have an interaction. You're forcing someone to interact with you. You're forcing the engagement. There's no violence, there's no contact, you're just making someone, by breach of social norms, to interact with you. when they do interact with you and they do so aggressively because of the breach of social norms, you then get to go, it was just a prank, man. It was just a prank. And that allows you to stand back and for your filming and for your clout to play victim. And that's exactly what they're doing with the iPay. It's the same situation in a different paradigm. Theft versus violence, sure, but it's still the same breach of social norms. It's still against the law. Sure. Hey Casual, how's it going? Hope you're having an excellent day. Busy morning. I am capable of doing things, yes. As a hyperbolic statement, but sure. Not specifically, but I was being hyperbolic. So my issue isn't that the media isn't amusing for people. My issue is that people are doing it for clout. So it's fine when it happens in natural occurrence. It's that people are doing it clout chasing. People are doing it as part of a trend, that they're doing it on purpose and it's becoming popular as a trend. It's one thing if it's like a one-off and it's funny, haha. It's another that people are doing it on purpose and it's becoming popular and people are doing it all over the place. Because then it becomes hurtful. It becomes problematic. A la the Tide Pod situation. That's where I find issue with it. So like the first time, sure, haha. But after that, then it becomes problematic and it becomes an issue. And then it becomes endemic and problems. So like I can understand it, haha. But after that, it becomes like, why are we still laughing at this? No, absolutely. I don't begrudge you for finding it amusing because like the first time it's, it's funny. But that's where I could draw concerns is that it becomes that trend, that it becomes a concern. And I've also had a discussion with my own partner where I may become hypersensitized. And again, this might be my own neurodivergence protecting me or becoming problematic in my particular case, where I become overprotective of certain facets, where I become too vigilant of these facets, where maybe I'm too, maybe even hypervigilant of looking for these things where I monitor myself and these facets, like I watch for these things because I want to be aware of them now that I am aware of them because I wasn't before. But we should care. Because if we don't, as a whole, then the harm builds collectively. Because as a people, if we work together, we can affect change. Because reality works only because we believe it does. And if we, as the people, believe differently, then we shape the world. Because we make the world around us. And I choose to believe that if we work together, we can make a difference. And I work to change it. Why? Why? That it's wrong because the world is made how we make it. I'm saying that the world is designed based on consensus reality. And that the people of the world construct the world on consensus. And if we shift consensus, reality shifts. I feel that we just need to work together. It's not about subdivision, it's just about working in unison. There are people with money who have a lot of control and a lot of power, and there are those of us who don't. Which money and power grants you a lot of power over the consensus. No, it's still about consensus reality. No, it's still about consensus reality. It's about consensus reality. It's about people and consensus reality. And getting people to change their understanding of what is and isn't consensus reality. So I was discussing the idea of what is consensus reality and the working together. So I have a theory of the idea of consensus reality. Consensus reality is the idea that we construct what is the world. The world is what we perceive it to be and how we believe it to be. And if we can get people to share the same perspective of it, the same concept, the same idea of what the world is, and we share the same perspective of reality, we can shift what the world is. It's the same idea of what the world is. Now, it doesn't have to be a unified perspective, but just the same concepts, because it's the idea that we have certain understandings of what things are, and those things are the way they are. So like we share, like, we can't alter the immutable facets of the world, but we can change the way things are and the way we handle them. So if we work together in unison to make change, we can affect change, is what the idea is. Yes, that's the premise of it, is where I was trying to go with it, is that we have to work together to make change, is where I was going with it. It's like we can't alter physics, obviously, but it's that we have to work together to affect change, is where I was going with consensus reality. Sorry, I was driving down this big old rabbit hole, and Snaggle was trying to bring me back because I was going down this deep rabbit hole that I was falling down and was trying not to fall down, but was really, really sliding down fast. But it is essentially that we have to work together to affect change because we have to work together. There are immutable factors of reality that we can't change, but the things that we can change require us to work together because there are stronger forces at work. Sorry, I don't know how I ended up sliding down that rabbit hole. But the idea of consensus reality was the idea I had that certain facets of like ideas had to come together, not reality. Because we define the words, not the world. Consensus reality is true, but it has an exception. That exception is space stations in scientific method. Any exception proves the whole thing wrong. But it can be made to account for the exception. I see what I think I see what you're getting at. Is the whole proof of the definition situation. Yeah, okay, I see what you're getting at. Yeah, consensus reality. It's like the whole formal definition situation where like, can you give an the exclusive what is it? Exclusive. Oh God, I'm so bad at remembering the way it's phrased. The exclusive. God, I never remember how he phrased it. No. I mean, I don't particularly like doing arguments in general, but um, um uh, yeah, it's like it's like the logical exclusions, or something like that. Yeah, but like you can't have exceptions with exclusions or exclusivity, and then like if you do, then it's no longer exclusive. But it has to do with that. But let's move off the consensus reality nonsense, because that gets into the whole philosophical side of stuff, and that was not where I was intending to go with the conversation in general, because that was not where like this was all intending to go. Because that was my nonsense and I took us there, and I am very sorry for that. Although I appreciate you all entertaining it, because that was... I do understand what... Because I wrote an entire research project around the idea... Well, not an entire, but it was... God, did I write that in my dissertation? Now I want to check, because I wonder if I wrote that in there, because I think I had a section on consensus reality. Or was that in my proposal for the old one? Okay, no, it wasn't in my dissertation. Thank goodness. No, I like that quote by Aristotle. Why? Okay, take care, casual. Drive safely, and thank you for not distracted driving. And we'll see you probably this evening. Do I even have a draft of my pre-COVID dissertation? Looks like it, maybe. Okay, it was in my pre-COVID dissertation proposal. A lot of things were broken by space stations and nuclear subs becoming a thing, because how do you account for a whole town separated from society for up to 2 years? The same way you account for any town being separated from society for 2 years? Quarantine? Zombie apocalypse. Stranger Things. Well, no, not anymore. I mean, nowadays you certainly can't just sever a city. The interconnectedness of everything is, well, interconnected. Back then it was probably much easier to do, but these days, absolutely not. These days it is super duper hard to, sever all of that. Well, I'm going to have to wrap up this morning's session because I need to go get food. But I appreciate everyone tuning in this morning, and I will be back this evening. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, and I'll see you this evening. You all take care. Remember to take care of yourself.